What? Who? Why? All right, look, you read the title. I'm not afraid to say it. The Titanium Wraith from EPS is a perfect balisong. What do I mean by that? Well, let me explain. The balisong market used to be simple. Like, it was hard to actually acquire a balisong in the first place, but it wasn't so hard to choose what you wanted. There were way fewer options than there are now, with your choices being basically limited to something from Benchmade, BRS, or Jerry Hum. Unless you were okay with some cheap Chinese thing, and even those were incredibly limited in selection, or maybe you were so desperate in wanting to pretend you were the spy from TF2 that you figured out how to make a balisong out of paper, glue, and toothpicks, like I did. Look, times were tough and I was in middle school. I think people now don't even fully realize that squid industries didn't even exist back in that time. They only started in 2016, and it took even longer for full production runs of their products to reach the mainstream hobby. The Crackerakin, one of the most influential balisongs of all time, was created in 2019. That is only 5 years ago. This hobby is much younger than people realize, and I think that's a good thing because it means we have a lot of room to grow. Speaking of having room to grow, if you'd like to help us grow, or just pay our rent in general, please consider supporting us on Patreon. Tiers start at just $3 a month, and patrons get early access to videos like these days before the public, and are living in a simulation of their mind's own creation, rather than experiencing reality as it truly is. There still are eras to this hobby, and I think that you can see those eras within the design of different balisongs. The true Filipino-style balisong is extremely unique, and classical balisong designs take a lot of inspiration from original Benchmade products. On the other hand, modern balisong design is heavily influenced by squid industries, encompassing, well, basically everything made out of aluminum. More and more makers appear every single day in this hobby, and while choice is awesome to have, sometimes it can get a bit overwhelming. Especially now where it feels like a lot more products coming out are just slight modifications of ideas Lucas had 5 years ago. Don't get me wrong, iterating on currently existing designs is the bread and butter of innovation. Things like the Volt Pro literally wouldn't exist without both the Crackerakin and the Cygnus coming before it. But sometimes I yearn for those simpler days. Times when it was easy to pick a balisong because there wasn't so much noise vying for all your attention. Times when the internet was less of an algorithmic hellscape and more of a wild west of small forums and message boards. Times when there was only one Brandon clone and not an entire armada hellbent on galactic domination.
I'm your greatest nightmare.
That is true.
Greatest is a weird word to choose.
You are my greatest nightmare. These balisongs, and EPS knives in general, bring me back to that time. They give me that cozy, nostalgic feeling of watching Calvination in my college dorm back in 2014, just trying to learn a basic combo. Also, shout out to Calvination for helping me get into this awesome hobby back in the day. I would actually be very interested to hear who got you into the hobby too, so please let me know in the comments down below. I will absolutely be reading those. When the G10 Wraith was released, I immediately bought this one with my own money. It reminded me so much of the classics like the Benchmade 51 or the Replicant, while still standing on its own as a wholly new and unique design. It immediately became one of my favorite balisongs in my entire collection, and one that I found myself picking up over and over again for flipping and EDC. Also, I added these zippy mods to it recently, and that has added to my love for this thing. Unfortunately, we never released a full review of it, and that is my bad, fam. You deserve better. I did talk about it pretty extensively in the Serpent Striker V3 review and my Balisong Collection 2024, but that's no excuse. To make better on my promises, and hopefully to make you believe in me again, unlike my father, I decided to make this video extra special. Also, that's unfair to my dad. He's actually quite supportive and probably watching this video right now, so thanks, Dad. I love you very much. Anyways, let's get into how it feels to flip the Titanium Wraith from EPS Knives.
Damn. Yeah. 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 The
experience of this balisong isn't anything new exactly. Instead, it's just an amalgamation of older ideas combined with new technology that creates something greater than the sum of its parts. Let's start with the specs. There's nothing crazy going on here. It's sandwiched titanium handles and a buoy blade. The blade is made of 154 cm, which is a pretty solid steel choice, though it's not quite as nice as something like S35VN. It runs on bushings, which are exceptionally well tuned right out of the box. Like, they have perfect swing and literally zero play. It weighs 4.34 ounces and has a slight handle bias, but it leans towards neutral balance-wise. These specs are honestly great. But as with almost any balisong, specs alone don't give you the whole picture of what it's like to hold the thing, let alone flip it. Looking at the design, we have a similar issue. Sure, it's beautiful the way the subtle milling lines on the handles reflect light beneath the stonewash, the beautifully simplistic yet captivating hole pattern, or the classical styling of the buoy blade. But all of these things can be said about the G10 version too. The Wraith as a platform was already an impeccable design, taking direct inspiration from titans in the balisong hobby such as the Stitch Steel Alien or the ELB Pro Flipper. EPS worked directly with the designers of these products and used their ideas and extensive expertise to create something new and wonderful. As I like to say, iteration breeds innovation, and there's a reason that these knives feel so classic in design while being so modern in functionality. However, none of that explains why I like this more than I like this. They both have the same design, and oftentimes converting a beloved balisong from one format to the other leads to a slew of issues. I mean, think about the Ti Replicant from BRS, or the Chab. I believe the reason that EPS was able to succeed here where others have failed is because their focus as a company isn't on iteration, it's on execution. And the execution here is flawless.
Did somebody say execution?
It's not that kind of video today, Brandon.
Oh. Next time?
Maybe, yeah.
Excellent.
I already cocked it. I don't know why I'm doing that.
It feels like every gripe I had about the original G10 Wraith was taken into account here. Every surface has chamfers, and the finish feels fantastic. And I don't know if I've ever felt a balisong as comfortable to use as this one. And that's intentional. My gripes were taken into account, along with all the feedback everyone else in the community offered. One of Rick Strable, the owner of EPS's biggest strengths, is his ability to listen. This balisong feels like it's exactly what the community has been asking for, because it is. This balisong is so satisfying to flip. Everything that I try with it just kind of works, and whenever I drop it, it feels more like a skill issue than a balance issue. It just listens to every last thing that I want it to do, and the weight distribution is a big reason for that. You can actually see how much work went into crafting this perfect distribution too. Taking a closer look at the inside of the handles reveals large pockets milled into the underside of the titanium, which have been precisely tuned to remove just the right amount of material at just the right points along its length. This, combined with these shorter spacers as compared to the G10 variant, give a balance point that is similar, but a weight distribution that is distinct. That difference means that the new titanium version flips just like the original, but with the slightest improvements to momentum carrying, which has a large impact on its final performance. Everything the G10 version can do, this can do, but a little more consistently and more ergonomically. Not only is it satisfying to flip, it is also satisfying to hold. If you don't like the dry feeling of G10, I totally get that. The G10 on the Wraith is fantastically done, but it doesn't hold a candle to how comfortable this raw titanium feels in the hand. Of course, it passed every test I could throw at it. It ladders great, it chaplains great, parabolics are a breeze, scissors, no problem. Overall, this thing is just fun. Its consistency is key to why I keep coming back to it. Both it and the G10 version just listen to you. They aren't some revolutionary new idea, and they don't have some of the crazy features that other balisongs do. Instead, EPS focused on executing a simple design to a degree that I'm not sure anyone has matched so far.
Yeah, even me, I spent the weekend with this, and I am actually blown away. Like, it's one of the best Balisongs I've ever flipped.
Genuinely.
And one of the most consistent and comfortable. And I already liked the Wraith, but this is just crazy how good it is with how simple every aspect of it is. It doesn't have some crazy modular balance. It doesn't have some crazy new blade thing. It's just a simple and effective Balisong, and that's kind of wild.
It's like, it's just no nonsense in the best way possible.
No nonsense in the best way possible.
In a world of modern square Balisongs, EPS has created something with classic curves and unbeatable ergonomics that stands easily as one of the best flippers available today.
Here we have William Hirsch in his natural habitat. Our society is not built to understand nor contain the gay man, but in his natural habitat with the insects in the bees, he becomes one.
What this represents to me is the power of community and collaboration. This is a perfect Balisong because it takes lessons and experience from the community at large and implements it, unlike some things. Review coming eventually. Now, of course, what is perfect to me may not be perfect to you, since this is one of the most subjective hobbies out there. But I do think that the vast majority of people have loved and will continue to love the Titanium Wraith. At a price of around $400, it is very competitive with other titanium live blade offerings from places like Squid Industries, MachineWise, and LDY. This knife listened to feedback and looked at its forefathers with respect before going forward to create something new and beautiful. And personally, I think that's amazing. EPS has had so many great Balisongs in their roster, a lot of which you can see in our Blade Show 2024 video, which we made with them right here. They are an extremely small company making Balisongs in small batches, so most of their products are unfortunately hard to get a hold of. But I have personally paid full price for and loved every EPS product that I have owned, and respect Rick a ton for what he's trying to do. We love being able to support different makers and shine a light on products that people normally wouldn't consider buying. This is a very tough hobby to stay afloat financially within, and EPS is the exact type of business we would love to support. And because of that, after some discussion with Rick during the writing of this very video, we have whipped up an affiliate discount code for all of you. We do have a lot of affiliate codes at this point with a variety of different companies, but the main goal of all of these affiliations is to keep those small companies thriving and give them as much support and attention as we can. And paying the bills also helps us keep making these videos, which doesn't hurt. We literally wouldn't be making videos like this if we had to lie to you about how we felt. The idea behind that makes both of us, like, actually depressed.
Yeah, like, I wouldn't be able to handle it.
No.
I think we're both in that same boat of just...
Of like, oh, this thing is definitely good, and I can't tell you it's not, because money.
Buy this, but we actually hate it. That would suck.
That would suck.
Would drain me emotionally and mentally every day, because I wouldn't feel good about that at all.
No.
That would suck.
Yeah, so all of our thoughts on this kind of thing are real. And if EPS screwed up on this thing and I didn't like it, or Brandon didn't like it, or any product, we would tell you.
Yeah. I looked. I really tried to find anything wrong with it. It's like actually like near 10 out of 10. It's kind of crazy.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Yeah. So if you would like a solid discount on any EPS product and want to support us at the same time, consider using our affiliate link in the description, or just visit eps.willhirsch.gay. As always, I also want to extend a massive thank you to our wonderful Patreon supporters. Your subscription are the most direct way we can receive support from anyone, and each and every one of you at our lowest tier supports us more than 1,000 views on one of these videos. Thank you for sticking with us on this wacky ride that has been the Will Hirsch channel, and I hope that we can continue to make awesome content like this with you in the future. I would like to extend a special thank you to our VIP patrons DJ Envious and Gorgonzola for their direct and substantial support of the channel. But that's pretty much it for the moment. Now, if you'll excuse me, we are trying out a new way of taking care of the Brandon clones.
Wait, what? Is that a Tamagotchi?
Wow. Oh, you're so cute. Oh shit, he still has the gun. Dad, I think I fucked up. Hey, Dad.